Hello, I am Pavit Anand, founder of Go Study Free. So today we have with us Pavit Singh in Germany. So he has been studying in Germany since the past many years. So he would like to share his experience. And so Pavit, we first start with your introduction about yourself?
Hi everyone. I'm Pavit Singh. I'm from Chandigarh and I've been living in Germany for the last 7 years. I came to Germany on a language school visa and I completed up till the level of C1 before starting my bachelor's here in mechanical engineering at the Technical University of Darmstadt. I followed that with a master's degree in mechanical engineering as well from the same university, and I'm now pursuing my PhD in the Institute of Lightweight Engineering at the Technical University of Darmstadt.
So how has your overall experience been in Germany?
For the past 7 years, I've had a lot of new experiences, a lot of rich cultural exchange I've noticed, especially because of living in a student town such as Darmstadt, but also the general culture of Germany has been very open and warm in the aspect of cultural exchange or even the exchange of knowledge, which has been a crucial part of the university culture here.
So German universities also offer courses in English. So what made you study in German language and choose German taught programs?
Yeah, exactly. So that was definitely a critical point because as Indians we have been learning in English for our entire school lives. So it was important for me to understand the how important their language is to their own culture. I was always fascinated by mechanical engineering, and that's why I chose that as a field. And typically, what I noticed during my internship and also generally as an advice from the seniors was that in mechanical engineering, we always have an exchange with people from the workshops or people from different industries which are much more local than a global company. And for that, it's important to master the language, especially the technical language that your colleagues speak. And yeah, that was my biggest motivation to learn German in order to integrate myself into the culture, but also in order to study the German taught courses of mechanical engineering.
So I believe before coming to Germany, I think you were studying in BITS Pilani for 1 year. So which is quite a good reputed university in India. So what made you take a transfer to Germany from BITS Pilani?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most prestigious universities, so it wasn't an easy decision to leave BITS Pilani. I was enrolled there also in mechanical engineering, and the advice and most of the talks on campus were always focused more on going either non-core, that's like more consulting direction, or heading towards the IT sector. They were very less motivated structural programs for mechanical engineers to stay core towards their field, and that is something which Germany had a superior edge over, and that motivated me to take this step that I have no regrets about. It was the right decision for me.
So what made you learn German language from Germany?
I did start learning German in English. I remember, for example, I learned it in an intensive course. But the problem was, it was enough to learn for the exam in order to clear the exam based on given examples. But once I reached here, I realized I had to repeat that level because the teachers here, first of all, teach the course in German language itself, and they also focus more on the holistic overview that I believe in India I didn't receive in that width, in that depth, because of course when you're in the country you experience the culture and you're able to integrate in it rather than just attending classes or, yeah, in person.
So since you also studied in India in BITS Pilani, what has been the difference in the quality of education you have experienced in
Right.
India and Germany?
Definitely. I noticed a big difference, especially in the beginning of my bachelor's. I noticed that the courses here are streamlined towards the respective streams from the beginning onwards. So the math and the physics that we did for mechanical engineering was different from that for computer science. In India, it's always the same course for the first year, after which the specializations occur. So I would say here the courses were more specialized towards the mechanical engineering, and they were much more relevant to the industry. We had a lot of professors who had spent years in the industry and brought their knowledge along, which is incomparable compared to a theoretical course.
So did you do any part-time jobs during your studies, and how much you were able to earn and save?
Right. I mean, one of the advantages is that Germany has tuition free education, but you still need to cover your rent and monthly expenses such as groceries. So, yeah, part time jobs was the only option. And I feel that I had an edge over others because of my knowledge of German language, because it's basic economics. You compete for a bigger pool of jobs with lesser people than if they were only English speaking jobs. So I did part-time jobs, let's say at the university or even at some factory for packaging, and I was able to save around one fourth of my income. So as a student job, doing a student job of 20 hours a month, 20 hours a week, I was able to earn 1,000 euros after taxes and able to save around 200.
Um, what are some of the challenges you faced when you studied in Germany or when you arrived in Germany, which students who are planning to come to Germany should take care of?
Exactly. I mean, never underestimate German bureaucracy. That's some things even the Germans are still struggling with. We need to keep in mind a lot of the communication, the bureaucratic communication is still in letters and it's not as digitalized as India. So it's a challenge to keep a good overview of the processes and not lose any deadlines just through negligence. And I would say, yeah, it's good to know the language because you're able to understand the bureaucracy better, but it's also good to have the right partner to talk to, the right people in charge who can help you further.
So how easy or difficult was it to do two degrees, bachelor's and master's in German language?
I mean, I did a language school in the course up to the course of C1. Even after that, I was having difficulty in the beginning of the university because the technical language is not taught in the language schools. The technical language of every subject is unique and has to be gathered through exposure to the subject. And I feel a good advantage I had was uh, learning together with my German batchmates from my own course, which helped me pick up the language faster because of the constant discussion in a learning group, and that helped me. That removed the barrier of language for me, and then it was focused more towards the subject itself.
So many students they prefer to learn German language from India itself instead of learning from Germany. So what would you advise them? Should they learn German from India or from native German faculty?
Right. So I think the main question is we want to learn the language in order to implement it later. The certificate itself does not mean much if we cannot learn from it later, if we cannot implement the language later, unlike other subjects. So I would say it's good to learn it from a German native teacher who will also be teaching you in the German language itself. There will be very less translations between English and German or Hindi and German, and that's something that's unique that can be gathered the most when we are in the country itself.
So what made you choose go study free for applying and studying in Germany?
Right, so I got to know about go study free through family and relatives, and I was impressed by their clarity and the transparency in which the entire process was discussed. Especially the visa process has been was the especially the accompaniment during the visa process was extremely helpful, because it's always a gamble as to what the visa authorities might ask or request in terms of questions or even documents. And I believe I was well prepared for the visa interview itself, and I was also well prepared through the hurdles that a person initially faces in Germany, for example, an apartment hunt and a language school. and the admission in the student colleague and in the university, that was taken care of quite transparently and professionally by the team.
So, any advice you have for students who are planning to study in Germany?
Right. I would definitely recommend learning the German language. For in their culture, it's irreplaceable. No matter how luxurious the job market might sound, it's always an edge that you need. And otherwise, it's definitely a huge cultural exchange within Europe itself, and it opens the doors. It opens the horizons to much bigger milestones later.
So, what are the kind of job opportunities in the Germany? What are the average salaries, and like what are the best ways for students to find a job in Germany?
Right. So currently there are around 1 million vacancies according to the official German job market, and there are a lot of like the average salary in Germany is around 40,000 euros, so 40 lakh rupees
This is
um,
the annual.
annually,
Okay.
exactly, annual salary. I mean, I can also speak for my field in aerospace, mechanical engineering, but also generally, it's always good to stick to some of the unspoken rules, I would say, for the job market. It's important to have the CV in the exact euro format. It's important to have the patience, I would say, to also write each of the Oscar. And it's also important to put effort into the cover letter itself, because that gets actually read by a person in the HR department. There are also different methods, like there are different kind of portals for different kind of jobs, especially for full-time jobs in engineering. It's always helpful to write something in German called Initiativbewerbung. It's called a job based on your own initiative, and that's always seen as more proper because it's not in competition with other people applying on the same portal, but rather on you yourself presenting your idea for a particular job that you have mastery over based on your experience.
So, what was the difference? You have learned German language in India as well as Germany. So, what was the difference you experienced in both?
So I did learn up until the level B1. I learned it in India, and then B2 and C1 later in Germany. And I noticed a stark difference between the methodology. So I found that the teaching methodology in German was more advanced. It was more focused on each participant in the classroom. And that one of the reasons was also that the class strength was quite low here. The teacher to student ratio was around 20, whereas in India it was always around 40 plus. Furthermore, I felt that the by furthermore I felt that by coming to Germany, I was able to also research on my university or on my university goals later that I could not have done in person sitting way back in India. Furthermore, the the level of the German language is better because we have native German teachers teaching us their own language, and that is always incomparable to an Indian teacher who has learned it himself through a college course and is teaching it further. So the native element is definitely useful for higher levels of German, which are required for university education.
So, would you advise students to learn German language from India or from Germany?
I would suggest for a comprehensive overview and for a quicker method as well to pursue the German language from Germany itself, which will help not just to clear the exam but also to implement the language later in a universal manner.
So, when you say quicker, how do you, why do you say that the language training in Germany is faster than India? Can you?
Right. So the number of hours for each level in Germany is around 160. I remember during my language school, I attended 6 hours of language school every day for 5 days a week, which led to an overall 160 hours of language per 160 hours of teaching per level. In India, I covered the same for around 80 weeks, 80 hours for one level, and therefore that wasn't so ideal in the teaching.
So, how was your experience with Go Study Free, and what were the kind of results you achieved through us?
Right. So I had a great experience with Go Study Free. I got to know about it from my family and relatives. I had a great experience in terms of transparency and information that the team always steadily provided to me, and I was able to get proper guidance and proper feedback, especially for the visa process, which is always a gamble as to which questions might come in the visa or how the what documents are supposed to be submitted. And I felt that the communication was quite reliable and the process was held trustworthy until I came to Germany, got a uh, got help with the apartment hunt as well as finding the right language school, and I was able to get admission into one of the top German TU9 universities through this process.
Great. So, which university were you able to get admission?
Right, so I applied into the Technical University of Darmstadt as well as RWTH Aachen, and I ended up choosing the TU Darmstadt for my bachelor's. And both of them are TU9 universities.
Great. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you.